What's going on, peeps? If you're looking for another charming theater nerd that can do slam poetry, sing, act, write, compose, and even climb rocks, I have the guy for you. This is Kaden MacKay, an American singer, influencer, and comedian, known for his songs Your Stupid Face and Passing Through, which gained viral popularity on TikTok. He has 900,000 monthly listeners on Spotify and 680,000 followers on TikTok. On his platform, he creates funny skits, character videos, sings, and does some impersonations. A smart and creative person who's worked on projects like writing a musical and a play, as well as composing for a short film. In this video, I want to showcase his story and deep dive into his short theater-esque discography that can bloom into a promising Broadway run given the time. Let's get started. Kaden K. MacKay was born on August 11, 2000 in Kaysville, Utah within a Mormon family. He is currently 24 years old. Kaden grew up in a creative and musical-rich environment that lit that spark. He found happiness through listening and singing music. He was surrounded by instruments and exposed to live performances, leading to him developing a passion for songwriting early on. Kaden would eventually become the huge theater and movie nerd we know today. He was inspired by classical composers like Beethoven, modern legends like John Williams, and other greats like Stephen Sondheim and Cody Fry. In 2014, MacKay wrote his first piece of music. Despite struggles with self-doubt and societal pressures, Kaden continued writing songs and musicals in 8th grade. This venture continued into his time at Davis High School, where Kaden created a musical in his junior year with his friend Emma Porter called Murder on Angel Street. He had part in the musical areas while Emma produced the script. Kaden got the idea to start recording music and gave it a shot. He had friends who were already writing music, so he asked them what tools they used. They introduced him to MuseScore, which he ended up using for a few years. After graduating high school, he stopped writing music for a while. He then attended Brigham Young University from 2019 to 2023 with a general studies degree. Then he got bored one day. The pandemic allowed Kaden to stay home and play the piano all day, as any introvert would do. His first TikTok debuted on October 15th, 2020, showing him attempting a skit, but laughing when he made a mistake. From there, he kept posting very short comedic videos that would have blown up on Vine. He even put out a silly acoustic guitar-led tune on YouTube, the Pyroclastic Song, on December 14th, 2020. This totally feels like a scenario where your preschool teacher invites a random guy on acoustic guitar to perform for the class. There's nothing to worry about, guys, just a historic tale about people's heads exploding. Kaden recounts the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD, which destroyed Pompeii in Herculaneum with deadly pyroclastic flows. I can picture this performance taking place during that time period as he claims everyone is gonna die. No wonder the kids were crying towards the end. They were probably shitting their diapers, let's be honest. If not, it's a warning about living near volcanoes in general with a mix of dark humor that is sung in a joyful, upbeat way. His efforts paid off. 3 months later, he would earn his first popular TikTok on January 13th, 2021. That would change the direction of his career forever. It gained 20,000 views in a matter of hours and currently sits at 400K. In this relatable clip, Kaden has a hopeful conversation with himself before his anxiety comes out of nowhere to cast doubts in song form. This is where he previews What If Things Get Worse. People were shocked to discover that this was his original song and not from another musical. The chaotic theater performance was enough to sell it. According to him, fame was going directly to his head.
All this fame, it's going directly to my head.
This would become his strategy on TikTok going forward. Create a short song and have a silly skit and video to go along with it. If the video gets popular enough, it could be extended for an official release months later. Kaden didn't originally aim to become a musical artist. That happened unexpectedly while pursuing a bigger dream, writing for musical theater. His ultimate goal is to create 3 major projects before he dies: a musical, a TV series, and a video game. He's already written music for each and plans to keep writing. Even if those projects never fully come to life, he hopes to at least do something meaningful with the music he's created. On January 18th, 2021, he released his debut single, I Hate Auditioning for Musicals, an ever-changing piano ballad with a few groans and bickering assisted by Kaden's warm, charming charisma. I swear he becomes more and more insane as the song goes on. on. This was inspired by a moment in 2016 where Kaden was speaking to a friend about how hilarious it would be if you auditioned for a musical with a song about how you hated doing so. He recorded the song that year, but never released it. Fast forward to 2020, he decided to re-record it with a bridge after discovering it again. After lip-syncing the song at his family's lip-syncing competition, they encouraged him to show it to more people, and so he did. He proceeded to post a lip-syncing video the same day, which became his biggest TikTok yet, garnering 1 million views. The third Sprouse brother would surpass 20,000 followers. It truly captures the anxious feeling of auditioning for a musical, the preparation, the callbacks, the song of your choosing, and even if you make the cut, you don't feel safe. Practicing for it is even more nerve-wracking, imagining hundreds of people watching, because what if the musical is a disaster, gets terrible reviews, and suddenly nobody even wants to hire you? After 2 months of waiting, trust me, Kaden isn't afraid to delay a song as much as possible, and you'll see it a lot. He gave us What If Things Get Worse on March 11th, 2021. It has this colorful, childlike instrumentation, including chip bag sounds, I think, with a vocal performance that isn't serious in the slightest. I find this whole song to be a struggle between your ambitious side and your anxious side. On one hand, you want to do great things with your life and prop yourself up out of hope things get better. On the other hand, there's that feeling in your gut that things won't get better. Heck, it could get worse for you. You'll always be alone. You won't pass that class. You're better to stay in therapy forever as anxiety controls you. You're gonna die. That ambitious, hopeful you is gonna die. Relatable. After more musical shenanigans, including an uncomfortable visit to the doctor's office, he had a viral series of videos discussing inspirational quotes generated by AI. But his next move would change his life forever on March 29th, where he uploaded a short song about his fear of losing time. 13 million views, birthing what would be Passing Through. He continued to play around with it by adding another verse, doing a Kermit impression, and posting a karaoke version. And with that, it became an incredibly popular sound, inspiring thousands of duets, animations, memes, and creators looking back on their own past. This sound even got an endorsement from Thomas Sanders on April 9th. Haven't heard that name in a while. In other words, it drew hundreds of millions of people to this song. But it was going to take a little longer for it to be finished. He had to live up to his new fan base's expectations, which I'm sure created a lot of pressure on Kaden going forward. He was posting less on TikTok, likely focusing on his craft and future projects. The full version didn't come until December 11th. Everyone was begging for the song's release, but man, it was worth the wait. Pretty ironic a song like this was delayed, to be honest. It sees Kaden wishing for time to slow down so he can enjoy the present. Life is overwhelming. Time is going too fast. He wishes for this plane of life to land, allowing himself to take a break and get more than one shot at something. Instead, we have to squeeze everything we want to do in this little time period. The future often feels overwhelming instead of inviting. You feel something bad is coming even if nothing is. You may not be entering your prime just yet. You still have a lot to do, but at least you know it's getting closer. So how should we deal with time? Well, there are things we need to move on from. We can't stay dwelling on the past forever. We need to keep moving forward. Otherwise, it'll get pretty unhealthy. Things must end. There's a change of heart here where Kaden wants to live his life instead of dreading it. Time gives us the chance to change. We only have so much time and we'll regret wasting it in the future. Focusing on lost time only wastes more time. So let's stand up, take a chance, and grab a hold of the next blueprint in our life before we otherwise miss it. Expressive, catchy melodies on top of an ever-changing bedroom pop instrumental. I enjoy how soothing his vocals are. I can see how they are this relaxing blanket for his audience that tells them they will be alright. To end the year, he teased another new song, Don't You Dare, on December 22nd, a piano and string-led tune released on February 11th, 2022. Hold up, what is this man's obsession with releasing songs on the 11th? Do you guys see this? Anyway, this is a person clearly in love but knows letting those feelings go is for the best to relieve himself of a possible toxic relationship. A few days before, Kaden whipped up this song, waiting to change in about 5 hours for his college songwriting class. Pretty similar subject matter to Passing Through, where you find yourself struggling to change as a person as time has gone on. On February 20th, 2022, he posted a self-deprecating video singing, I Just Really Hate Your Face, which went viral with over 4 million views and 750,000 likes. 2 days later, he followed up with a more positive reprise about liking your face that was even more popular. He just kept flipping the song and suddenly he misses your face. Kaden claimed that the first verse was about himself. He wasn't going to write other verses until people gave him ideas. As expected, months of delays for the song's release because he's silly like that. Finally, June 11th, 2022. 11/11, make a wish. What games are you playing with me, Kaden? I'm convinced he can only drop songs during months when the 11th is on a Friday. Also that month, Passing Through was used as outro music in a short film First Draft directed by Christopher Hughes. So Kaden pretty much gives us a enemy to lovers type of song. Going from I hate everything about you to I want you in my life is quite the story arc that this song certainly pulls off. There's piano and soft drums with a pleasant melodic swing to it. The first verse is obviously him using a barrage of insults against this person. The second verse comes around and suddenly he gains an appreciation for them, calling each other cute. Don't do that, you should hate each other. I love the boyish attitude from Kaden here, not being able to accept defeat. I can see what he means when he says he makes musicals for musicals that don't even exist. So they get together anyway, but he appears to mess it up. They then depart, and Kaden now misses their pretty face. I love how human that bridge is, that near cry he lets out. Eventually, his ex runs back to him and forgives him to the shock of Kaden. Despite all the warnings, they love Kaden too much. They don't hate each other after all. Why shouldn't they try? They may not go together all that well, but at the end of the day, they want to work it out. They love each other's stupid faces. Another charming piece of storytelling. Up next, he wrote this musical about conformity and soup in 24 hours. He then assembled a cast together to perform the songs for him. It is called We Are One, a musical written in 24 hours, released on November 11th, 2022. The opening track is about how we're all pretty different from each other, and that's a beautiful thing. I'd rather see different perspectives than the same color on the surface. This celebration of diversity changes on, is this even soup? The same soup. My picky ass relates to this one. Exploring a group of people's soup choices. This group is disgusted by each other's taste in soup, leading to a heated argument. The solution to stop the argument? Everyone has the same soup. So much for being different, which makes this reprise quite a trip. The logic is that they had an argument over differences, but when they did the same thing, everything worked out for them. Meaning, we should all try to be the exact same person, guys. Yeah, this is how cults start, y'all. Ending off with one person having something to object to on We Are One. Being able to accept people's differences, that's a sin. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. Being closed-minded like that never makes any progress in the long run. Having different ideas allows the world to expand into something bigger. Arguments will happen, but you can always find a middle ground instead of conforming to make everyone feel better. This whole musical seems like a criticism of closed-minded organizations, all accompanied by Kaden's story-driven piano and string arrangements. Ironically, as time went on, Passing Through continued to spread across the globe. By August 2023, it had surpassed 20 million streams. By the end of 2023, Kaden's music had been streamed 22 million times in a single year. This was his biggest year yet, despite not releasing any new material the entire year. Until December, where he graced us with a warm doo-wop Christmas sing-along, Christmas Waltz. His inactivity can be explained by a big project of his in 2024. Kaden wrote a song for a short film, Sunshine and Rainbows, and composed the rest of the soundtrack on April 26, 2024. It was directed by Ali Taylor and follows Peter, who avoids his problems by relying on his imaginary puppet friends, but when his past catches up to him, he must choose between clinging to his fantasy or facing reality. It is filled with bright, colorful piano and string passages that are as majestic as ever. The opening track is the only one with actual vocals. It uses the imagery of sunshine and rainbows after a storm to represent that good can come after chaos. So, what happened to Kaden MacKay exactly? In September, he crossed 1 million monthly listeners for the first time, meaning that he's still reaching new heights. Passing Through surpassed 50 million streams as well. He's also achieved 30 million streams in 2024 alone. Once again, his biggest year yet. He also does occasional Twitch streams playing video games. I'd say Kaden is doing pretty damn well for himself, even if he rarely posts on TikTok. I'm sure him lurking in the shadows will be worth it for what's to come. If you enjoyed this and want to see more, like and subscribe for more base content. I'll see y'all in the next one. Make sure to love all and peace.